What's up, guys? Buckle up because you're about to enjoy an excellent Snaps game preview where we tell you everything you need to know about this weekend's game and probably some stuff that you didn't. Enjoy. Indiana at Ohio State in what some are calling maybe the biggest game in Indiana Hoosier history, Aaron. Here you have the losingest team all time in Division I college football. The Indiana Hoosiers ranked number 5, hitting the road to take on Ohio State. Indiana's coming off of a bye. Indiana's lost. How about this? Fun fact. Indiana has lost to Ohio State 28
Ooh, it's times. The most, correct?
They have not. I don't know. I haven't seen that. But I do know they have not won since 1988, which means that they have not won this game since we have been alive on this earth, Aaron Murray.
Wow.
And, you know, I was interested in this game before, but after your crap you tried to pull yesterday and everybody else out there, Feinbaum and all the rest of you radical SEC boys out there, I could not be cheering harder for Indiana to kick some ass on Saturday and take down the Buckeyes.
I'm cheering for Indiana too. I'm not here to just wave my Ohio State flag or anything. I want a good football game. I just need them to prove it to me. I said it yesterday. I'll say it now. If Indiana is competitive and it's a good football game, I'm for it. If Indiana gets blown out and it's a double-digit loss and it looks bad, then I'm not for them at 11-1 getting in over said Tennessee. That's it. Prove it to me, buddy. You have Indiana. You haven't played a team with a winning record besides one. You have a win over. You're coming off a bye week to prepare. You've had 2 weeks to prepare for Ohio State. If you can't make this game competitive, your one game this year against a decent football team, if you can't make it competitive, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Coming
off a bye week.
I'm not making, okay. That's my fault for opening the door. I don't want to make this into another playoff conversation right now. No. I'll say this real quick to chat. No, I have not been on Reddit. These are not Reddit takes. Ox in the shop says, TBob, you're an SC hater because LSU sucks. Ask Aaron. Aaron, we've been doing this show for a couple of years. Have I ever once said that I cheer for the SEC? I have consistently said that I hope everybody in the SEC that I am not from a fan perspective, not from an analyst, from a fan perspective, I hope every other SEC team loses every single game. I don't give a shit about conference pride. I have none of it. I think the people that do, I think they're kind of cucks a little bit, you know? I mean, that's all I'm saying. Like what? Like you can't do it right, so you want somebody else to do it right for you? Not this guy. If I can't do it, I don't want anybody to do it. So no, I have no conference pride whatsoever.
You just want your wife just to lay there unsatisfied and pissed off her whole life? That's what the feeling you got?
Well, that's two different things. I mean, if we're talking about that, no, I mean, I'd be open to helping her out in that regard if she needed it. But like in the football field, yes, my football wife, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She's gonna lay there.
Anyway.
All right, listen, I like Indiana. You like Indiana. I think everyone not everyone, but a lot of people have flipped their switch on Indiana this week because of now the controversy of where things are going to end up with the playoffs. But if you would have asked everyone a week ago, how do you feel about the Hoosiers? We're like, I love it. We love Signetti. We love the story. We love their offense. We love their defense. We love everything about this team this year. There's no doubt about it. I think this is a well.
You don't believe in them, though. You don't believe they're good. You believe they're okay. You don't believe they're good.
I believe they're good. I 100% believe they're good. It's a deserving thing in my mind. It is a deserving thing in my mind more than anything. Let's not get into the playoffs here. Let's not get into.
I'm not saying I'm not getting into the playoffs, but you can't tell me that you think they're so good and all this stuff, and then you obviously don't.
I think a lot of teams are good. I think South Carolina's good, but they're not going to make the playoffs either. I think the team's really good without me believing that they deserve to be one of the 12 teams in the playoffs.
This Indiana team is legitimate. They have the highest rated quarterback in the entire country, according to PFF. Curtis Rourke has a 92.3 PFF grade. Okay, he's the second highest rated passer when it comes to pass efficiency in the entire country, a rating of 182. They have an offensive line that is made up of guys that were already there. I mean, the entire class is filled with seniors.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. The front seven is one of the most disruptive in the entire country. Kamara's a beast. And with so many JMU transfers as well, remember, these are guys, not only they're very experienced, they're all upperclassmen, all they've done is win. Oh, yeah. Everywhere they've been. It's all they do is win. They constantly beat the spread. They constantly beat expectations. This game's going to be no different. This is just like when everybody was crapping all over Washington last year and telling us that Oregon's going to smoke them. Oregon's going to smoke them. What did Washington do? No, Indiana, like that Washington team, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and it has an elite quarterback, okay? And look, they're going to be tested because this Ohio State defense is incredible, and I am worried, honestly, about the Indiana offensive line against the Ohio State pass rush. We'll have to see how they can hold up. That Ohio State secondary's great, but like Indiana's a legitimately top 10 football team in the entire country. And I am so excited for Curtis Rourke because this is his opportunity to get over. Now, as I said, I think he's fighting an uphill battle. I could see it going badly, but I hope it goes well. Here's a cat who was the #1 ranked recruit coming out of Canada back in high school, but that still only put him like 2,200 in the country. He had to go to the MAC at Ohio to find his way. But again, all he does is win. Back-to-back 10-win seasons at Ohio, 2022, MAC Offensive Player of the Year. Tears his ACL week 12 of 22. Comes back, and now here he sits on the edge of greatness.
All right.
I think Indiana's going to – I don't think they win the game, especially because it's on the road. But I do think Indiana keeps this close and acquits themselves well.
Just like yesterday, in which TBob brought up Georgia's schedule a year ago, and then I had to tell him, like, look at all the big-time wins they had. You bring up Washington. Let me just tell you about Washington's schedule last year and why the feeling. I'm not talking
playoffs. I'm not talking playoffs. I'm talking about the fact that everybody just said that Oregon was going to smash Washington.
But at least they proved it to us week in and week out last year. They beat a 9-3 Arizona. They beat Oregon twice. They beat a ranked USC team in November. They beat a ranked Utah team in November. They beat a ranked Oregon State team in November. They won big-time games.
I don't understand your point. You're making it – no, stop.
Why we could doubt them. They at least showed up and played big-time games and won them. We have not seen them do that. They're not the same. They're not the same.
You're misconstruing the point. The point of the Washington point was, okay, even though Washington showed you all that, in the rematch against Oregon, everybody still had Oregon smashing them because of all the same reasons. Oregon had more talent. They had more talent on the talent composite. They're better. Exactly. They're better on paper. But all I'm saying is Washington is a team where the whole was greater than the sum of its parts. Indiana is that same style team. I'm not comparing resumes. I'm just saying, and what else do they have in common? An elite coach that all he knows how to do is win. Elite quarterback, elite coach, a whole's greater than the sum of its parts. Kalen DeBoer, why did he get that Alabama job? Because he did more with less than anybody in the entire country. Kurt Signetti right now is doing more with less.
Quarterback, the best.
Yeah, but he pushed it. That was not really the best offensive line coach. They were good. They got
voted at it.
Remember what happened?
I agree with you on this.
Don't let Kublik beat you up there.
I don't want to piss Kublik off again after
No, okay, but Washington pushed it to a national championship. Washington was better than Indiana. Yes, look at the receivers. Absolutely, I'm with you. Like Indiana, I don't believe is going to the Natty. But so again, my point is just that they are better than everybody's giving credit for, and everybody's just so in their head about high school recruiting rankings and talent composites and all this bullshit. And I am very excited for Indiana to prove everybody wrong this weekend. And I think they will. I think Ohio State's good, but I don't know that Ohio State's great. What have they done? The same thing Indiana's done. Beat the shit out of everybody else in the Big Ten.
Well,
you give them credit for losing to Oregon?
They beat Penn State on the road. That was impressive.
No, that was a good win. Fair.
That was a good win. On the road, hostile environment. That's a good
Ohio State is does have the better resume.
Yep.
And is a better team. I believe this. But the gap in terms of what they've done, I don't believe is that large. I'm
with you. I don't think it's that large either. I'm not disagreeing with you. Listen, they've had 2 ranked games. They lost by a point by Oregon after a questionable pass interference call on offense that could have given an opportunity to kick a field goal to win. They beat Penn State on the road. So they have at least been tested. Indiana, we talk about this with other teams like say in the SEC.
They got tested by Michigan.
Yeah, they got tested by Michigan. I agree with that a little bit. But like that's still not a top tier team they got tested by. Like Ohio State's been against two of the best teams in America, both on the road have been tested. Why do we feel so good about Georgia a lot of times? Because they've been on the road and been tested. Same thing with Ohio State. I'm not dissing Indiana here once again. I like Indiana. I like the roster. I like the coach.
Here's the deal. Ohio State played at Michigan State. They won 38-7. Yep. Indiana played at Michigan State. They won 47-10. Ohio State played at home against Nebraska. They won 21-7. Indiana played at home against Nebraska. They won 56-7. Do we have any other common opponents on this list? I think that may be it for now. But I'm just trying to reinforce the point here that it's whatever. The point, y'all hear what I'm trying to say.
I think Indiana coming off a bye week, an opportunity to really scheme up this defense, which at times this year has been vulnerable. I'm interested to see what Connecticut has. I think they're going to hit some big plays. I think they may be able to punch them in the mouth early. I think you may even have an Indiana team that's up in the first or second quarter.
Yeah.
They come out hot. Can they sustain 4 quarters against the big boys in the trenches? To me, that's going to be the difference. Can they get guys open? Can they hit a couple explosives? 110% they can. Can they sustain it for 4 quarters? That's what I'm interested to see.
I do think the Hoosiers coming off the bye with Cignetti's skill set, which remember, if you read about Cignetti, people describe his ability to game plan and find like angles where they can get advantages as like a borderline superpower. But yeah, I agree. Ultimately, the talent of, Ohio State's put $20 million into this roster.
Yeah.
Like they have to win this game. It would be a massive, inexcusable failure were they to lose this game, especially at home. And I do believe that overall on a man-to-man basis, they're more quality in the trenches. I do agree that secondary can be suffocating. And so I think Ohio State wins the game in the end. But I do think Indiana covers. I think they acquit themselves well.
If Ohio State loses this game, are they out of the playoffs?
Would they?
Let's put it to the test. Ohio State versus Tennessee. 2 lost teams. Tennessee beat Alabama. Ohio State beat Penn State.
I think it would be very tough to keep Ohio State out the playoffs, but I don't know. We'd have to cross that road. We'd have to cross that road when we get there. Okay. Where does Indiana, would you say Indiana has the advantage at quarterback and basically that's it?
I wouldn't say like it's a massive gap, though. You know how I feel about Will Howard. I think Will Howard's
Will Howard's good. I don't mean it like that. I'm just trying to play the game of like who has the advantage where, right? Because you'd probably give every other position group to Ohio State.
I think you give but I also do not want to fall in love because Ohio State's offensive line came out and dominated the last game of like, oh my God, they're cured up front. Like I'd still need to see, or like the last, like their big challenge versus was it Penn State? We're like, oh my goodness, this offensive line is great now. Like, can they do it against a good team again and again and again and again? I think to me personally, I will continue to question Ohio State's offensive line until they start stringing it together week in and week out against good teams. They're going to have an opportunity this week, and they'll have an opportunity next week against Michigan to really show that this team is somewhat bulletproof, because I like Will Howard. I love the running backs. I love the receivers. I love the defense. So yes, there's really, I guess if you want to say that if there's a coin toss area in this game, it would be the quarterback spot, because I would take either one of these quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess the other thing I'm battling against here is like, I just think Ohio State's one of the least cool brands in the entire country. And Indiana is one of the most likable underdogs. If we're just keeping it completely real,
100%.
Like if you're not,
it comes on the coaches too.
What?
Well, likability, but also I put this in the notes, and Chris Tran, our boy over here, brought up too.
Shout out CT.
The better coach?
For the show.
Who is the better coach?
Yeah, Indiana is.
Yeah,
I think at least, right? Ryan Day's good too, but again, that's probably a bit more coin flippy than as I'm like flippantly just saying, well, Indiana does. But I mean, Kurt Cignetti's probably going to be your coach of the year. Here's the deal. But yeah, I think for me personally, that is something that I'm really struggling with, like separating is like, I just think the Ohio State brand like sucks. Like if you're not an Ohio State fan, like why would you be? Like cheering for them's like cheering for the Yankees or anybody else, like cheering for Georgia or Alabama. Like if you didn't go there, why would you cheer for them? It does seem worse, but I think that's just probably a bit of our regional bias, is my guess. Like if you're cheering for Ohio State, you're a cop, straight up. Gotta be.
But the difference is Georgia and Alabama, while they've been the big bad teams and they've recruited everyone at better players, at least they've won championships recently. Seems like Ryan Day has been able to put these rosters together, but they still can't win though. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John,
in the same category.
LSU. Indiana would beat the shit out of LSU right now, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Man, I hope Indiana shows up and just proves all these people that just, we'll see. All right. Okay, but in the end, I do look, I got the Buckeyes winning. I wish this game was in Bloomington more than anything in my life, but I think the Buckeyes end up winning by, what's the spread on this game?
13.5. I
was going to say 10.
I was going to say 10 too.
Damn.
I think Ohio State wins. I think Indiana can keep it, can take the lead, keep it close to the first 2.5 quarters. I think Ohio State pulls away a little bit, maybe similar to like the Georgia-Tennessee game, but a little bit closer because I think, I don't know if I just feel like Ohio State has that killer in them right now. So we'll see.
RW Tyndall, if Indiana beats Ohio State, does Ohio State go after Cignetti to replace Ryan Day? Well, no, we should mention this. Kurt Cignetti just getting an 8-year extension. He's now making $8 million a year. He has a $1 million annual retention bonus. The total compensation of his new package, Aaron, $72 million, making Cignetti the highest paid Indiana employee in history. It's like I said, everybody's a basketball school until you win in football, Nobody cares more about any sport in this wonderful country in which we live that we're going to celebrate with turkey next week than winning in football. It's the best. Also, watch out. Sleeping Giant, Indiana, Aaron. They're paying their coach $8 million a year now. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a commitment there. Get ready. All right. But I would say probably wins this weekend. Whatever. Oh, well, I'd say that was informative and fun. If you agree, please hit the like button, sub, and we'll see you next time for some more snaps.